All right, y'all. So Nikki G here with Views and Vibes, and we have a special guest today, but I want to preface by saying that we are bold, we are beautiful, we are educated. However, most of us are still single. We are struggling out there to find our soulmate. So with us today, she is the relationship expert. She can tell us ladies the do's and don'ts and what to do, how to look, what to look for. So with us today is Cassandra Coach Cass Henriquez. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous, Nikki G.
You look fabulous.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So this is a really popular topic. It's relationships, and this is something that you know about. So there's a 3-day retreat coming up. It's Woman Wanted Live.
Wanted Woman
Wanted
Live.
Woman Live. Wanted Woman Live. Yes. So why this retreat and what is it about?
Okay, so wanted means women achieving new triumphs every day. So I believe that every woman is wanted, but too often we don't figure out what we want. So what I find, right, Nikki G, I've been coaching since 2004, and what I find for most professional women, they kind of end up with what's there. Like, oh, what are you doing with that guy? Well, he was there. He liked me. Not often do we make the choice. And I believe that women choose. Like, we have the option, even though they propose, right? You still had to say yes. So how do we start to take more control? How do we take power in our love lives so we don't just keep rolling into situationships that have us staying up at night with tears in our eyes?
So is there like a certain average age range that falls into that particular category?
Well, I would say all women, but seriously. But I specifically work mostly with women over 40 because you start to realize, wow, I've been giving all of my time to work. And for some, the clock is ticking. For some, they might be divorced, and they start to realize, like, I don't want to grow old alone. It would be nice to be in an amazing relationship, but for most women, we've never seen it outside of a romantic comedy. And what I find is that women, they kind of suffer from this thing I call rom-com-itis.
Okay.
They watch the romantic comedies and they're like waiting for some horrible man to come along and suddenly be a Prince Charming. And somehow that Prince Charming isn't popping up, right? So then they get with the horrible guy thinking he's gonna change, and he doesn't.
So they're settling.
Yeah, over and over and over again.
But do they know that they're settling?
No.
Okay.
It's just like, well, he's nice, or my family might like him, or he could pay bills, or he's there when I need him, right? I hear this too often, right? So if you are a go-getter, a woman who always has things to do, but then you have a guy that can pick up the groceries, the laundry, the kids, the puppy. It's just like, oh, well, it's nice to be able to lean on someone. And if that someone goes missing, that's when we start to feel alone. And we don't like that feeling. So we'd rather just fill that space with what I call space fillers. And space fillers are taking up the time and the space for you to really connect with real love.
But how does she know that he is a space filler? Real love versus being a space filler. Like, how do you differentiate the two?
Well, she knows for a fact that this isn't her guy. You know what I mean?
So she's skeptical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach Cass, he's not really on my level, but he fixes my pipes. Or Coach Cass, he could pick up the things for me, but I really can't have this intellectual conversation. Our values don't really align, but they align just enough. He's great to go on vacation with. He pays for things. That's not the end-all, be-all for a relationship. Like, when you start to think about your heart of hearts and what you truly desire is someone that gets you, that you can be your authentic self, raggedy in the morning, bad breath, feeling and still have that man say, baby, I love you. That person that helps you to shine your light and not dim it. Because I often hear from professional women, oh, well, I've been called intimidating. You get called intimidating by someone that's not doing much in their life. Right? So the man, and you know this for a fact, the man that celebrates you for who you are, I feel like you are a shining light, right? Like, your man celebrates you. I see it. He's like, go, baby, go. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I often tell my clients, like, I'm coming up on 11 years married to my husband.
Wow.
And one of the things I tell them is I've never gone to sleep crying. Because of this man or what he's done or what he said. And too often we have these situationships that have us feeling hurt, yet we choose it because we feel like there's nobody left.
Right. Well, I think because of maybe the grass ain't green on the other side, so that's like a thing that's being said nowadays. So I guess some women they don't know that there's something else out there for them, so they
Yeah.
just kind of stay in that space, you know.
It's rough. I
Right.
start to look at I look at it like statistics, right? For many women, they maybe have dated 5 people in their lives, like 5 serious
Like
relationships.
total. Okay.
In life, it's like 5 serious things. Everything else is like 5 serious things. I'm like, you cannot base everything off of those 5 men. Because when we look at it, one was just high school, the other one was college, and 3, one at work, one round the way, and one at church. It's just like you can't base
scratch the
everything.
surface.
You just scratching the surface when it comes to dating. We haven't been taught how to date. We literally, you know, if you see a woman out with a different man on 3 different nights, we start to call her different kind of names, and it's just like, why? I'm just curious about another human, and that's it. I'm not sleeping with them. I'm not kissing them. I'm just trying to get to know people, right? And we haven't made that normal. So I want to change the conversation around love and what it takes. So Wanted Women Live, like, we're going deep. Why do we choose chaos over peace? Too often in every aspect of our lives, from career to home to relationships, we continuously choose chaos instead of peace. We forget what peace feels like. For some women, they've never felt peace.
Right.
Yeah.
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 So with the retreat now, it's 3 days.
Yes.
It's a women's, a girls only kind of
Yes, yes,
experience.
girls vibes.
So should they come being focused, or will it be like a girls kind of trip kind of vibe, or is it a blend of both?
It's a blend. You know, everything I do is fun, right? So yes, I'm taking ladies to Morocco. We're going to
Y'all going
Colombia.
to Morocco?
We are. So that's in June, right? So, but you know, for this event, we're always dancing. We're always having a good time. But sometimes we have to dig deeper. And what I realized, Nikki G, is we're always focused on work. We're always focused on how to make more money, but how do we become better women, better humans, better in relationship? Because when all the money fades or the health fades, it's the relationships that stand, or the lack thereof. So, you know, I have our mindset coach. He's a neuroscience performance coach, right? And he's talking about how do you go from hustling to healing, because we just always on this grind. I spent 30 days this summer in Africa. And the biggest thing that I learned is like, what is the purpose of this grind? For what? This morning, I met a man that studied like the blue zones, the people that live to over 100 years old. And one of the things he told me is that, you know, they are peaceful people, and loneliness shaves 8 years off your life. I'm just like, you know, like we are out here messing around. We are messing around, you know. So then I have our Dr. Mia, who's talking about perimenopause and menopause, because it's one of those things that nobody talks about. Did your mama teach you about menopause?
She did not. I learned about that on social media, actually.
Right. You know, you flipping through, okay, what's that 30 seconds? Okay, I'm going to do that, right?
Yeah.
Hot flash, okay. Missing tooth, I learned on Sherry.
Missing tooth?
Yeah, Sherry Shepherd. Yes,
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, that's another
conversation.
That's another conversation, but we're talking all about it, right? So just all the things with women. We also have a sexologist. I believe women, you know, many have been through so much trauma that they don't know what pleasure can be like. They don't know how to ask for what they want. You know, they dim it down, you know, from all the cultures that we're a part of, but it's just like, it's okay to ask for what you want, but how?
Yeah.
Right, but how? We also have our trauma therapist. How does trauma live in your body and then show up in your relationships? I'm talking about boundaries. I'm talking about how to sit in your power seat, not only at work, but also at home. Like, how do we really do this thing? And we got a men's panel, girl.
Oh, there's a men's panel
There's
too?
a men's
But it's a
panel.
women's only trip, right?
It
But you have
is.
a men talking to the women.
Yes, I got a
okay.
men's panel, the
Yes.
men's, because, you know, we always want to hear from the men. Somehow,
Yeah, there's
you know,
that.
it's always a thing, right? So we have a
Yeah.
men's panel for the women to ask real deal Holyfield questions in a safe space. You know, like that's one of the biggest things. It's like there's so many unsaid conversations, and just looking it up on ChatGPT
Yes, not
ain't
enough.
it.
Yeah.
You know, it really isn't. And we've been so in love with Zoom and Instagram and watching things on television, but getting there in person is
Yeah.
absolutely life-changing.
More intimate. Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
yes. And then we end with a beach release. So we release it all in the ocean. Think like Martha's
Like just energy
Vineyard.
release or like a physical release?
Like we actually get in the ocean
Oh,
and
okay.
release. You know,
Yeah.
some people are scared of the ocean. It's okay if you toe dip. It's all good. But you know, it's just a beautiful time, and you know, then you could get back home to wherever you are.
Yeah, so how many women altogether? Is it
Yeah,
like
so we're thinking about 60 women,
Okay.
you know, keeping it at a nice number, just intimate, just large enough to really be able to pour into each other. And there's no cliques, right? Because I know sometimes I went to an event last year and I was kind of scared, right? Like
It could be
you
cliquish.
don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Like even if you pay for the upgrade, like will people pay attention to you? you? Like, will you be strange in the corner? Like, we don't do that. Once you step in the room, you're a part of the crew.
Okay,
That's
the friends
it.
can come with their friends.
Yes.
You can come solo if you need to.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
And again, so this is in Morocco or different?
No.
Okay, so that's for next. Morocco's next year.
Florida, this is Hollywood Beach, Florida.
Oh, it's local.
Yeah. This is local. This
Hollywood
is local.
is beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
So as far as these women, so they're 40 plus. They're successful.
Yes.
So do you think because of their successes, they tend to judge the men that they date? Like as far as a blue collar, maybe she's a white collar, he's a blue collar, she makes more money than he does.
Yeah.
So do you think that plays into that given her age and her successes?
Definitely. But I always say, like, stuff like that doesn't matter.
Right. But it matters to her, though.
It matters to her. But what we have a conversation about, like, if you're looking for a coach to just get you a multi-million-dollar rich man and, how to flip your hair back, this ain't the event for you. Okay, let's be clear.
Okay.
Now, my husband says I still need to give the tea because he says I live a subsidized life. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, hey, I'm here for the man paying for most of the things. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's really about alignment. Who is aligned with your values and how do you really connect and identify that person, the clarity around it? How do you communicate with men so that they hear you and not block you out? How do you connect in a way emotionally and not physically first? Too often we lead with the physical and think that's going to be lasting, and that has not worked out. It doesn't work out.
They
you know
don't
what
care.
I'm saying?
I mean, they care about this, but
Right.
they care about what's on the inside eventually.
Exactly. That part.
Right.
If you want a long-term relationship, for the ladies just looking for what's hot tonight, this ain't the event for you either. It's really for those who want to get serious about something, the matters of the heart. But we're covering so much more, like I shared. But how do you show up in your life in a way that attracts the kind of love that you deserve, and not just the one that's by convenience?
So can you guarantee after this retreat they're gonna find a man, a
Well,
long-term partner, their soulmate?
Listen, here's the asterisk.
You got a disclaimer?
Results may vary, right? Results may vary. So the big takeaway from here is that you show up as a wanted woman, a woman that knows what she wants and how to get it. Now, at the end of the day, it is always up to her in order to do the next step. Now, I do have a community where I support women year round because I get that doing love by yourself can be super lonely.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have the wrong people around you that keep giving you the wrong advice. So sometimes you have to get yourself in a different environment to get a different result.
And speaking about that, as far as advice, now we're in the day and age of podcasts, and we have the
Yes,
Dr.
so many.
Cheyenne Bryants and all of those,
Yes.
the Cam Newtons and so forth.
Yeah.
Like, what is your take on the podcasts and their advice that they're giving to women, especially over 40?
Well, for me, many people have great sound bites, right? And they sound really good. But when you pull the curtain back and you meet people and you find out about their lives, are they in a great relationship? Are they in a marriage that you admire? Are they in a place that you want to be in? If those answers are yes, tune in. If they're not, take it with a grain of salt. Right. You know what I mean? Because then it's good sound bites, great study, great theory, but where's the practice? So for me, I'm married 11 years now, have a beautiful baby girl. Yes, the man gets on my nerves. Let me not say, I didn't say I have a perfect
Well, that's a part
anything.
of it. That's
right?
a part of the journey.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am not here to say I have perfect anything, but my intention is for women not to settle. One of the latest things I've been saying in the Real Love Network, that's a community where I support women year round. One of the things that I've been telling my clients is never have I ever gone to sleep crying at night because of something my husband did. From dating until now. So we've been together about 12, 14 years, right? And in all that time, I could look back and say, never have I ever. And how many of our women are here calling up a girl for, look at what he did. And then the next day they're back together. It's just like, what in the world?
It's like,
what are we doing?
Because in her mind, the grass ain't green on the other side, so.
And sometimes we just have to do without grass and chill out, Like, being single is not a death wish. Being single, you get to make your own decisions on your own time, the own way. So literally, if you decide to be with someone, your life should be greater. It should be better. And if it is not, you can still be bad all by yourself,
Exactly.
And so it is.
All of these, so I would say maybe about 5 years ago, it was about, I'm independent, I don't need no man, I don't need no man. Now it's, I want a man, I need a man, I want companionship, So it's definitely shifted over the years.
That part, and that's why sometimes in your 20s and 30s, that's where you're at. I don't need nobody, And then you're like, oh snap.
I don't want to be lonely. I want somebody.
Hold on, the Jamaican mother, right, would say, study your book, right? That's what I was told, focus on those things, right? The man will come, but when, mommy? When, where is he? Don't worry about that. And then I started to realize that every woman in my family is single. I'm like, wait a second, who am I taking relationship advice from?
Okay.
I had to do a self-check. So for my story is I was dating a guy for 2 years and found out he was married. Can you imagine? So I walked away from that relationship, but I was still hurt.
Yeah.
Still dating the wrong person. And that's when I realized, wait a second. After my 29th wedding invitation, I was like, hold up. Is everybody getting married?
29.
Listen, Joey, Billy, Toothless Willie, right? Everybody had somebody. I was like, wait, I'm cute, you're cute. Why is this not working? And that's when I realized, listen, I wasn't taught how to do relationship well.
Yeah.
I wasn't taught how not to operate in dysfunction. I wasn't taught how not to treat men like disposable pool boys. You can't fix the thing, you can come do that and then be gone. Don't be in my space. So it was a lot of rewriting and unlearning that I had to do. And I interviewed couples who had been married for over 25 years, successful women who were successful in business and in love, because I felt like you had to choose, which one should I do? And the truth was that I could do both.
You could do both, yeah.
Yeah.
Society has a way of labeling certain things, So you spoke about not being educated on dating. So do you think that it's up to the parent per se to teach their children about dating? Because I mean, it's not really heard of to teach your child. You talk about sex, you talk about, when it comes to relationships, but not about dating necessarily. So how would that conversation go as far as teaching someone how to date?
Listen, my daughter is 8, and she is obsessed with marriage, right?
Oh!
She is obsessed. I'm like, girl, what is up? She put my mama on a dating app the other day when we were in Zanzibar. I was like, what is happening? She was like, Mommy, how do you know about these things? I'm like, are you serious? So anyway, when we watch the little movies, right? So just think about Aladdin. Here's a boy, a street rat that you met that stole an apple, and then he's breaking and entering into your palace and asking you, do you trust him? Come fly on this magic carpet. I say to my daughter, do we trust him? She says no. I said, exactly, right? So there's like simple places in movies and time that you could pull out lessons of what does trust look like? What does a good candidate look like? What does good dating look like? Oh, Mommy, I have a crush. Well, what makes him a good crush? How does he treat his mother? How does he treat you with friends around by yourself? How does he do in school? Is he kind? Right? Does he love the Lord? Right? Like, what does this look like? Less than, oh, this boy is cute. So these are small conversations that you can have from early. Because if I can have a conversation with you about sex, what leads to sex? Who do you allow to enter the innermost being of your body? Not everybody, because with the amount of diseases, they try to tell me that my child needs the Gardasil shot come next year. I was like, isn't that a sexually transmitted situation?
Like the HPV
Yes,
shot?
girl, the
Oh,
HPV
yes.
shot
Okay.
at age 9.
That is crazy,
At
yeah.
age 9.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what?
Yeah.
Right? So if we could talk about sex this early and procreation and babies, like what are the things, what are the steps to
so
come
true.
before that? So I have literally had conversations. She'll say, Mommy, how long do you need to date? I told her 2 years.
Okay.
I said, get to know the person. We're not rushing into things, right? Because this is the person that you will spend the rest of your life with. The problem is we meet you today, we sleep with you tomorrow, we might get married on the 3rd day, and then you get a divorce on the 5th day because you never knew this person. Now, yes, arranged marriages, many of them work out, but that's a different principle, a different mindset, a different culture, right? So people just sticking with it to stick with it isn't necessarily the thing anymore, So make right decisions, which is why I work with a lot of women who are over 40 because I'm like, you are grown. So we are no longer making foolish decisions just based on somebody being sexy and looking like Idris or Hugh Jackman or whatever your flavor is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's cute. I want him.
Right.
Yes. No, it shouldn't be about that.
Exactly. I still want you
Yes.
to be attracted, but there's so much more.
Layers. It's like you got to peel the onion.
Yes.
Peel the onion. Yes. So as far as the retreat, when can we find where's more information about it? Where can we find more information about the
Yes.
retreat, the day, how to RSVP and so forth?
Okay, so it's wantedwomanlive.com, wantedwomanlive.com, and you use the code VIBES.
Yes.
For 50% off general admission. The event is October 3rd through the 5th.
Okay.
It's happening in Hollywood Beach. Even people who are local are booking the hotel because it's an experience to be in. You know, a
Yeah.
place to get away. You know, it's just really one day off of work, just that Friday. You know,
Oh, it's just one day? Oh,
no, it's Friday, Saturday,
and
Sunday, but you know, the weekday, right?
work
So
on
you
the
just
weekends, yes.
take off Friday, you know what I mean? And you're
Yeah.
here through Sunday. You'll be back in time for your making your Sunday dinner at home. You'll be fine.
Okay,
You know?
sounds
So
like fun.
it's a good
Sounds
time.
very educational, and it's
Yeah.
something that we want. There is
Yeah.
intention. We all want to find our person.
Mm-hmm.
So, Coach Cass, thank you so much. Great conversation.
Thanks
I
for
love having
having me.
these kind of conversations with you because we're human.
Yeah.
We have a heart, and we want love.
Yeah.
And we want to find our person, you know. So
Yes.
thanks again, and keep us posted on the retreat. I'll be in your stories and on your Instagram looking at the pictures and stuff. So.
Hey, man, you could come too.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I'm about to be off the market, but I could. Okay.
Listen, did you hear the topics?
Yes,
it
I did.
transcends just getting the guy. How do we keep the guy? How do we
Right.
really show up in a space that we can authentically just exude joy while we love?
So it's not just for singles; it's for singles and
In a
those
relationship,
who are
engaged,
okay.
married, yes, all of the
Perfect.
above. For the woman that wants to level up in love. So just like you get CEUs for work, CEUs for business, these are your love CEUs. Get your continuing education for your love life.
Awesome, Coach Cass. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.